Okay, so I did a quick experiment. I bought one of those cameras and quickly ran Nmap, Hydra. So this is run really slow. So I've slowed it right down. I just bought a camera. First thing I did, opened it up, and here we go. And find the passwords. And find it. Oh, there it's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that's a great password, isn't it? It didn't lock me out, so it should have said 3 strikes and you're out for half an hour or so. It just blindly let me continue on, and I was able to connect to the camera fairly easily. This is my chocolate teapot. I should have brought my kettle with me. Who needs a Wi-Fi enabled kettle? Honestly, that is the last thing that I think most people would actually want. So just let me see if I can get this to play. But this one I can connect the kettle. It's a bit slow, and guess what the default password is? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and I won't tell you the last digit because I don't want to breach ethics here. But it's not that difficult. And you just imagine you're on the bus home. I'm desperate for coffee. Get your phone out, get the kettle on. By the time you get there, fire brigade are at the house, and some joker left the kettle on, trying to hide your phone in there. And surely nobody puts the kettle online. Well, they do. So Shodan shows there were 3 kettles online when I did that. There were 175,000 HP printers ready to be connected to, and 30,000 HP printer queues, just waiting for a connection from something. And obviously all the details of the message that happens is printed there. This is my next door neighbour's house. So you can see that there is a very the light seems to be the car seems to change sometimes. And, also bought an electrical plug socket, but we'll not go there. So if you see your lights going on and off, then be a bit worried that somebody's hacking you next door. No, it's not serious. This is a real Google patent. Google X patented that. Okay. I don't know about you, but I think that's about scary as anything. And I used to bring my cloud pets along. You cannot buy these in the UK. They're banned. Okay, so we want. But all of the conversations, I say all of the conversations between the kids and their parents, which is, I mean, really just don't go there. We're stored in an S3 bucket with no password on it and were easily discovered. They have no pairing on them, so anybody can connect to a cloud pet whenever they want. So someone next door can easily connect to your cloud pet and speak to your child. That's one end, but they didn't even think of that. If you have a Nissan car, then please watch, because inscribed in here is your API key, and someone can get access to your car's details. This is my favorite one. I've got one of these, but it's really too bulky to bring down, and I don't think I can explain it to the airport security why I'm taking a pet feeder to an academic event. But this one, watch out if you go on holiday, your cat could starve, or dog. If you take the internet away, then it doesn't give any food there at all. This is my cat. Oh, it's not really mine. So, okay. My cat and my cat feeder there. My cat loves that. Good thing is that you can see that I'm sitting there. That's there. Okay. But then I looked at the video feed from my Wi-Fi access point, and it's broadcasting this live. So anybody who knew my IP address could click on and catch that. I mean, there's no app that says do this, do that. To know that you are broadcasting live to the internet. Well, if you have a cat dog feeder, then just test your external IP address to see that it's not broadcasting, or you might be in trouble. So this dog was banned, Kayla was banned in Germany, and the advice was to immediately, I promise, immediately get the doll, put it on a bonfire in the dark. You imagine many kids were painted with that. It was such a security problem that anybody could connect to that doll and speak to it. So we created a petition online. So I put in a petition. I got enough people behind it, and it was rejected. All I wanted was a kite mark, for goodness sake, on children's toys to say that this has been through a pen test, at least. But you'll be glad to know that TGI Fridays version of the Hull was accepted. So I think that just shows you maybe the standards that we might expect, that TGI Fridays and Hull is more important than our kids' safety. So it's a bit unfortunate. Okay, so I'm a crypto professor. I'm a complete crypto geek. I do everything crypto. I think in crypto, everything. So let's do a little bit of the future. So I won't tell you about public key encryption, but you should hopefully know you have this magical key pair. It's part of the world that we're building. We have key exchange methods where we use public keys to exchange. And thanks, one of the best things I did this year was to talk to Marty Hellman. What a privilege. I got into crypto because of Diffie Hellman, and I actually was able to speak to him and explain how he came across the Diffie Hellman method. It's the most wonderful thing to teach. Because students don't get it, they don't get it, and then you get it and go, wow, that's amazing in its simplicity. It's still there. It's just elliptic curve methods that we use now. And so key exchange is there, fundamental for creating tunnels and so on. So our three main methods that we have just now are RSA, just not going away. We've been pushing it off the stage for decades. Go, leave. No, it's okay, it's still there. 4K, I'm coping. You know the size of the key that we require for post-quantum? 1 terabyte. I've got 1 terabyte in my Mac. That will be enough to store an RSA public key if quantum computers ever go. 1 terabyte, that's crazy. So it's still there. There's the mass, if you can see. But it's the darling of the industry, elliptic curve. Everything is elliptic curve. There's nothing else that even comes near it in terms of its performance and its lightweight nature. Okay, the discrete logs have kind of passed, but these are finished. They're gone. All our books will have to change. In a decade, we'll have to get rid of the methods involved in RSA, elliptic curve, and discrete logs because they will be cracked by quantum computers. So just to give you an idea, if you don't know of elliptic curve, that's what we do. It's very simple. You have a private key, you have a base point, and then you derive a public key from that. You have very simple operations in there. And the only show in town when it comes to a signature is ECDSA. You sign with the private key, and Alice proves it with Bob's public key. It's the only show in town because it's Ethereum and it's Bitcoin. It's not great, it has weaknesses, but it is the way that we do it. So our methods that we use just now are these for our key exchange and signatures. But they need to go, and we now have a whole lot of probably hard problems that don't involve computer factorization. So if you're into this area, you'll know that they're hash-based, code-based, multivariate, lattice-based, and isogenes. But it's likely that this one will win because it's been around for a long time. It's known as learning with errors, or ring learning with errors. But there's a little whippersnapper that's there called isogenes, and it would allow us to use elliptic curves and continue on to a post-quantum world. So I won't go into the detail of how they actually work. But there's the timeline, and we're looking towards 2030 and on for the first quantum computer to build. So we really need to understand now what we need to be building for the future. So this has had a competition for quite a while, and they have came up with a shortlist contender. One of them has already fallen at the last fence. Rainbow was hacked over a weekend on a laptop. It's gone. So we've got lattice for signatures, We've got lattice, 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 and Maclise. RIP, Maclise, I mean, read Maclise's papers. Yeah, what a wonderful researcher he was. He did coding theorem. I remember doing data comms and all of that coding stuff. It's all coming back. Again, error correction and so on. Maclise created some amazing things. But if we actually assess them, and I've run some experiments. So these are my experiments in terms of the size of the key, the size of the encapsulation, the decapsulation. So what you see is that the lattice ones are smallest key sizes, smallest encapsulation, decapsulation. And these other ones here, the isogenies, are just too verbose. Sorry, encapsulation is the speed here. So this one here is 5 million times slower than the latticed method. 5 million times slower if we use that. So the lattice ones are definitely the ones that are the fastest there. And I did a little mini league table here, and you can see the ones that are the most popular there. And then I looked at the sizes of the key, and it looks a bit different. But the isogeny one here produces very small public keys, very small cipher, and a very small private key here. But still, Kyber is coming in, and the lattice methods are still doing pretty good in terms of the sizes of the keys that they have. Okay, so it's still acceptable. They're only 4 times bigger than the isogeny ones here. But down here, Maclise just falls down when it comes to the size of the public key. It's just ginormous. So it's 1.4 million times bigger for the public key. You're not going to be running that on an IoT device. So Maclise will probably go, and it's likely that Kyber will be the winner. For signatures, it's slightly different. The hash-based zero knowledge proof methods are probably some of the best ones, certainly in terms of the speed of the key generation. But again, the lattice methods are coming in pretty good, only times 5. If you go down to hash-based, it's getting a bit crazy here. And you see these ones here, it's not really winning in any area. So from my assessment, dilithium for signatures, closely followed by picnic, which could be interesting, a zero knowledge proof one. And then the isogeny ones are down there, not really winning in their areas. So I think we'll come out of post-quantum crypto with lattice methods being the ones. So you'll start to see them more and more in your software as a replacement. But already researchers are hacking them. This is my toolbox. I won't go into the details here, but this is the toolbox of the future that we might look to do. And one of the things that will happen is homomorphic encryption. And homomorphic encryption allows us not to ever decrypt data and to leave it open. So we have the states of rest, we use encryption for that. We have over the air, we have tunnels for that, and process. You know how easy it is to look at the data in memory and in a processor. So we need to start to be encrypting the data inside processes as we use it. So homomorphic encryption allows us to operate on our encrypted data. This basically went through the 4 generations. So this is the state of the art just now, CQKS, and allows us to operate with floating point values, where the previous methods have allowed us only to work on integers. But the old methods of Elgamal and Palea are back, because they can do partial homomorphic encryption. So for things like the COVID tracking method, you could use homomorphic encryption to look at the delta between the 2 GPS coordinates. So you didn't need complex homomorphic methods, you just needed a delta. And Elgamal and Palea, which have been around for 30 years, are just as good in those types of things. So we need to understand that. And the other thing that's happening is probably and move towards FIDO. Last week, Apple said they're moving towards passwordless. Microsoft, Google, everybody is getting rid of passwords. They're rubbish, and we know they're rubbish. They're becoming too complex, can't remember them, and they get hacked through social engineering. So more and more, we'll start to integrate devices into our systems. In some companies, you can log in with your watch. My Mac logs me in to my Apple, quite happy. My phone does face biometrics in my bank, so on. So it's happening. And FIDO gives us a platform to start to use these keys. And most of the time, what we can do is that we can store a private key on a YubiKey in this case, and we can sign for things, and we can verify our identity. And why can't we log into a website with a YubiKey or your Apple device? So more and more, you'll see these trust systems being integrated. This is an example here of using an YubiKey to be able to sign an email. Okay, so as a final thing, I'd like to look at scamming and go back. Let's forget about advanced persistent threats and let's go back to the very basics. So I remember watching this live, so hopefully you all know what the problem is here. That's it. What is that? It's classic. It's classic, yeah. So Winter 14 is the Met Office, and he's written it on the board. So that's the level that we're probably at in many systems. So this was I got woken up on a Saturday morning.
Right. Okay, sorry, could you say that again? I missed the first message you said.
We've all had these, I think.
Could you repeat what you just told me? I missed the first part of what you told me.
Okay, let me tell you one thing. The reason of my call is just to inform you. Okay, this was a routine checkup call about the internet. Just to inform you that from last couple of days we are working in our server. On that point of time we are receiving the notification like a red color errors and yellow color warning from your broadband connection, which is not good for your router. That's why as soon as possible we are calling it from the Virgin Media.
Virgin Media. And where are you based? Which Virgin Media place are you from?
So right now you are getting this call from the headquarters.
Oh, from London or Edinburgh or Glasgow or where are you?
No, I'm calling you from the United Kingdom, London.
London. And what street are you based in?
1811 Elliptic Street.
1811. What street? Sorry.
1811 Everton Street. Everton Street.
Okay. And what's the messages?
Okay, tell me all about the lights and things.
Just start work with your viewer.
Team Viva.
Shall I spell it for you?
Yeah, please.
I don't install this app on your phone.
E as an Tango, E as an Edward, A as an Apple, M as a function.
He wants a remote connection to my phone. The minute I log into my bank, my money is gone. So he gets really upset with me.
Yep, I've done it.
Didn't catch you. Can you please come again?
No, I've put it in.
What you said. Just enough for me.
What you said?
I can understand.
No, I put in what you said.
For that, you need to just read out for me. You need to just read out so that I can understand you are doing the right thing or not.
No, I'm doing the right thing and I've put it in and it's fine.
No, you think you are very smart.
Don't be cheeky.
Huh?
Don't
What do
be
you
cheeky.
think? You are very smart. You are very clever.
Don't be cheeky,
Huh?
please.
Why you shut your mouth? What happened to you?
I'd go.
Are you taking your daddy dick into your mouth?
I've typed it in.
Motherfucker.
It's not often that. It's not often that.
You think you are very clever and smart.
Sorry.
I said that's up to others to define.
It's not often as a professor you get described as a mother for them. So I thought that was quite unique.
Okay.
I've got a few of these if you ever want to see them, but I respond back to all of these. I know I shouldn't do this, but I responded back to this one. Say, show me the money. I'll have that straight away. That's what comes back. It Sainsbury Bank does exist and that has a real address, but don't phone that number because it will never actually answer anything in there. That's what I got, and I think that's fantastic. If you think somebody's going to be tricked by that, that comes like from clip art from the 1970s, I think. I don't know. But they like their stamps and their watermarks and so on. So I did send it back in and to get my money at all. And I actually ended up speaking to this chap here, 12.5 million I was going to get. And I wrote back, said, yeah, can I have the money? Please send me it now. I got this things, and some of the money was going to the children's home, which is really nice. I felt quite warm that I wasn't taking all the money, but at least 10% was going to children. A children's home, less in your country. In my country, I don't know what that means, but then all I had to do was fill in these details. I just couldn't see what the scam was up to this minute.
Scott.
Then I spoke to him. And,
Hello, who is speaking?
My name is Bill Buchanan, and I want to claim.
I won't go into the details of that one, but we have a dialogue. I'm still trying to find out where the scam was there, and this is where the scam is. This is a fake. This is a real bank. This is a fake email address. If you send your registration fee to that address, you will lose your money from there. So I continued on speaking, and this is what he said, and it's rather sad for me. You'll have to excuse me here. It was to do with my deceased cousin, engineer Clifford Farquhar Buchanan, who very sadly died in a crash with his wife and his only daughter. Very, very sad. From there, and this was my okay, how many authority things are on this? You can stamp there, legalized copy, stamp duty paid, affidavit, and so on. So this looks genuine to me. So I went ahead with that. Yeah, done. So I sent my, I had other calls with them, and this was the. I had to send some ID. So I sent my ID. That is Bill Buchanan, I can assure you. And then the scammer had the cheek to say that I was a scammer, that I'd sent a fake driver license for that. Yeah, so they, and Bill Buchanan does exist. That's not me, by the way. He was a fictional character, and he did appear in a TV series and so on for that. Okay, so I just do one last little thing there, just to make it past there. Just got to get to my last slide. Well, let me do this one last thing. Where is this person from? The biggest scammer in the world? Which city in the world do you think he's from? Lahore? Nearly, no. A bit further away. Colombia? No. Glasgow. It doesn't make you feel proud that you've got the best cyber criminals in the world. That's a real tiger, by the way. He loved cars, and he would get someone from Pakistan to come over to clean his cars. He was a record producer, maybe in the 70s, but not these days. And what he did was he paid bank employees to give away details of their customers in London. I think about £150 or something was the fee. He eventually took 113 million. Oh my goodness! Stop. One company in Gloucestershire 2.2 million in an instance. You can call them up and actually say that you've been hacked by King. Just giving you the details of the login, and they go in. Solicitors' offices, they have money from back and forward quickly. So 2.2 million could go in an instance, the solicitor's fund for that. We just kept going, and it was driven by money, 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 money. So I go back to my start, money, money, money. It's the main motivation. Vishing and phishing are still the top threats for your mum and your dads and so on. Security by design needs to happen, but also privacy. And I leave you with the words that 5.2 zero knowledge proofs and homomorphic and the post-quantum crypto are the areas that will disrupt our world. Okay, thank you.